And then drama. There is no other way of describing it. The most prominent defection from UDA. Mohamed Ali, the member for parliament for Nyali constituency, a member of the UDA party, previously a member of the UDA party, has now defected to the opposition. It is still not very clear where he'll land, but is now making it very clear. He is being very visible and showing both his supporters and Kenyans that he is with the opposition. He is not going back to UDA. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, but this has massive political implications right across the board. This is not local Mombasa politics, Nyali constituency politics. No! This has massive national implications. Indeed, this is not the first time something exactly like this is happening. And guess what? The last time it was happening, in retrospect, it was the last nail on the coffin of a party called KANU. Okay? Now on my show today, I expose what has really been going on behind the scenes. Because you see the way Mohamed Ali first got elected, that is a story and a half. And guess what? It is linked to Ruto. Believe it or not, there is no way Mohamed Ali would have gotten elected without massive help, financial and otherwise, without massive support from William Samoei Ruto, who of course was then the deputy president and was in a party called Jubilee. That is quite a story. And apart from revealing that, I also look at what has been happening recently in Mombasa. Something you need to know. Anybody who's following Kenyan politics, it's very urgent and you need to know it. Karibu sana to my red hot show today. Twende kazi. There are many reasons why the very clear defection of the Nyali legislator, Mohamed Ali, out of UDA are now very boldly, visibly in the opposition. There are many reasons why this defection is huge. It is very big. Folks, it is bigger than you might think. Even historically, it reminds me of yet another defection at a period in Kenyan history that is very, very similar with this very period we are passing through. That in those days signaled the end of KANU, the end of the ruling party, the end and the removal of that ruling party from power through the ballot. I will talk about that in a moment. Yeah, it is very interesting because there are so many similarities. You'll be amazed. And clearly, it tells us something. But very quickly before we do that, I want to give you a heads up. You know, I am here because of you, the people who consume my content on YouTube. And I'm very grateful. But I also have to be very mindful of what you want versus what is convenient for me. And it has become very clear to me for a long time now that most of you prefer shorter videos. Not all of you, but most of you prefer shorter videos. And sometimes I have videos on this channel that go even for 40 minutes. Okay? And on the other hand, I also have my core supporters who follow this channel, who like their things very deep. They like a deep, thorough analysis. They are not in a hurry when they come to this channel. That is exactly what they want. And so to strike a balance from today, what I've decided is to do something that will not compromise those who like the way we approach topics and issues in a very deep manner, but will also be convenient for those who prefer shorter videos. And therefore, what I've decided to do is to make what would have ordinarily been one video, 2 videos. Okay? Those who like the analysis thorough and those who want shorter videos will also have no problem, because my research has also shown people would much rather take in 2 shorter videos than one very long video. So look out for part 2 of this particular video. Let's get on with it. Now, Mohamed Ali, the Nyali legislator, is a coast politician, and maybe it is a very good idea to start with something which many of us may not be aware of. The voters in Mombasa coastal region have really changed in recent times. Wamebadilika sana. You know, going back into the KANU days, even with the draconian Moi ways and the way KANU was messing up the country, coast people were always cool. Their politics was never confrontational. They were always very cool. But in recent times, there's plenty of evidence that the mindset of the coastal voter has changed, and it has changed very dramatically. Let me give you a very quick illustration of that. After Uhuru and Ruto won the 2013 presidential elections, they made what appeared to be a very smart move, to ensure that in the 2017 elections, they would win the coast hands down. They did a lot of distribution of title deeds, especially in the Likoni area. Hey, they did a lot of that. Many happy coastal people who had struggled for decades, their grandfathers had lived and hoped for that title deed and never seen it, and their fathers the same. And now they had finally gotten a title deed. It was a very big deal. And if it had been 20 years earlier, I assure you, Jubilee in 2017 would have swept the whole coastal region, no problem. But what happened in 2017? It was the ODM party, the opposition, the ones who had not been responsible for the title deeds, who swept the coastal region. Okay? Another quick example. About 7 months ago, when President Ruto was visiting the coast, and to be more specific, Mamangina Drive, I'm sure most of us know Mamangina Drive, which is at the shores, Mombasa City. When Ruto visited this area, there was a particular video that went viral. It showed the president approaching a store where there were a lot of young people, and the young people of Mombasa were totally ignoring him. In fact, they had their backs to him. Now, that has never happened before in Kenyan history, that a president goes somewhere, even if they are not liked, they attract attention. And therefore, this thing that was happening, it blew people's minds. Even Ruto himself did not believe. Ali Hassan Joho, who was with him, tried to talk to some of the youths and reminded them that the president was there. They were not interested. Hey, coast, it may change. Okay? Now, this is important to take note of, because you know what it does? It puts pressure on coast politicians. And especially a politician like Mohamed Ali, who was first elected and managed to make it into parliament because of the power of the people. Let me remind you, you know, when Mohamed Ali decided to vie for the Nyali seat, he went straight for the ODM ticket. But when the ODM primaries arrived, the ODM High Command had discovered that actually Mohamed Ali was being sponsored by William Samoei Ruto and the then Jubilee Party. And therefore, what did they do? No, they didn't call a press conference to say that so-and-so is being sponsored by Jubilee. That would not have worked. Many Kenyans would not have believed them. And therefore, they went out of their way to ensure that Mohamed Ali would lose the ODM primaries. Now, many of Mohamed Ali's supporters who didn't know what was happening were livid. They were angry. And when Mheshimiwa Ali vied as an independent, they gave him their vote. And he won the Nyali seat for the very first time in 2017 on an independent ticket. And people were shocked when they quickly realized that Mohamed Ali was very much aligned to Ruto and Jubilee. People could not believe, and I believe he lost some of his support that way. But let us back up a little. You see, the relationship between Mohamed Ali and William Ruto goes way back to the days when Mohamed Ali and another journalist called John Allan Nam got a reputation in the country for bringing us information that nobody else could get for us. They did some amazing exposés, and people wondering, where are these guys getting the information? Where? Some of that information was impossible to get unless they had a contact very deep and very high up in the Kenyan government. Well, it turned out that his main source was William Ruto. In other words, William Ruto helped Mohamed Ali become famous. Okay? Let that be clear. But it seems that Mheshimiwa Ali played his cards so well that by the time the 2022 general elections came along and he was vying on a UDA ticket, he won by an even bigger margin. Okay? Which means that people on the ground had a lot of faith in him, because UDA was not very strong at the coast. But people had a lot of faith in him, and they gave him their vote and granted this politician a second term in parliament. Okay? Now, problems, tensions between Mohamed Ali and the UDA party started right from the beginning. But they became very clear around March, April this year, when Mohamed Ali came out and said that he had discovered the party, and especially the Secretary General, were planning to field somebody else on a UDA ticket for the Nyali seat in the 2027 elections. And so it did not come as a surprise when during a funeral in August, Mohamed Ali told mourners that he had defected from UDA, that he was no longer a member of the UDA party. Now, in my opinion, this man is doing his things very strategically, methodically. Okay? He's not just doing everything rashly at one go. Okay? Because now the latest is that he has made it public that he is in close consultations with people like Rigathi Gachagua and Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, with the opposition. Now, considering all that information I've given you, it is very clear where the coastal voters stand as we speak concerning who to elect and who not to elect. In other words, in simple English, ama bila kizungu mingi, UDA at the coast, kwisha maneno. That is very clear. Because you see, Nyali constituency also covers some slum areas. Okay? Because when you mention Nyali, people immediately think of the rich people in Nyali. No, those people don't even vote. Okay? So the common man, the common mwananchi in Mombasa is anti-UDA. Let us get that very clearly. in our minds. And this is a confirmation, evidence, very clear of that. Because remember, Mohamed Ali got elected. He doesn't know any other politics except the politics of convincing the voters. He does not know any other politics. He doesn't know boardroom politics or being fixed somewhere. No. He only understands the politics of pleasing the masses, who in return, return your love and vote you in. Ajui njia ingine? And therefore, this should be very clear. It should be more than clear. And in my humble opinion, it spells doom for the UDA party. Watapata votes wapi jameni? Because it seems all the doors are shut. Kabisa. Even in the Rift Valley. That should be clear. I know some of you may not believe me. Yeah? And indeed, there are many experienced political analysts who still believe up to this point that cost is 50-50. That some of it will go to Ruto. There's some analysts who still believe that. But in front of us and staring at us is the evidence that that is not the case. Coast is locked. Now, considering Mohamed Ali's history, where he came into politics as somebody's mole, oh yes, I'm sorry, Mohamed Ali fans, but on this channel we only deal with the cold facts. And I believe that this is very relevant and very similar to what I cover in my very latest highly sensitive special report about strange bedfellows. People are currently talking across the political divide who should not be talking. You wonder what are they talking about? Now you can see details on your screens right now. For only Kenya shillings 3,999, you can be able to get this highly sensitive special report. Now, of course, the best option is to get our golden key, the Kumekucha golden key. I believe you can see details on your screens right now, and this offer is coming to an end at any time, so please rush. For only Kenya shillings 6,444, you can get a permanent golden key. It's not annual, it will not last 2 years. It is a permanent golden key that you will never, ever need to pay for anything Kumekucha. All the sensitive content you will be able to get. And so if you're in a position to, please rush, take swift action, and ensure that you'll be very comfortable in the future. Even as I continue to look for ways to put a cap to stop taking in any new members, because this is the safest way for me and my valuable informants. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.